What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Scuderia Ferrari driver career mode here on F124. Yes, we're back today for round 8 in Monaco. Now, all throughout practice, I'm just struggling so much. I'm just going to say now before we get to qualifying, just can't get the feel of the car, can't get it planted out of the corners, locking up into some of the heavy braking zones. It feels like nothing like F123. I'm struggling pretty bad, almost as bad as I did on F122. So yeah, I don't know where we'll be able to put the car for qualifying, but think we might be in for a long afternoon today. Well, here I go, starting my first run of qualifying. We're going to power down the main straight now. So Lando Norris sends the benchmark now of a 112.7. So we're just going to throw the car into turn 1, rub up against the wall just a little bit there. So as I said, the car not feeling absolutely spectacular so far this weekend. You can see that I just get a lot of understeer coming out of Mirabeau. And now power down the main straight once again, drain all the battery up to the line. And it is P2 behind George Russell there. So surprising that we have gone that quick, especially after the pace I was showing in Monaco practice 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, I guess pace has kind of come out of nowhere here for qualifying. Well, I've just noticed here that our teammate Charles Leclerc is down in 14th, and he's getting held up severely by this RB car in front of him. I think our teammate, his home Grand Prix here in 2024, might be out in Q1 if he can't set a quicker lap time. And he just squeezes through. So, very close there from our teammate, as he was being held up severely by the RB car. So, out in Q1, we have Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hülkenberg, Daniel Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, and the kick Sauber of Zhou Guanyu. So, it looks like a very tight field all around, as we are going to come off 9th at the end of Q1, since we only did one lap. Lance Stroll looking like he has some decent pace in that Aston Martin, going second behind Lewis Hamilton. So my goal is to get about into the 111s. I think towards Q3 we might see even into the 110s. So Q2 might be a little bit of a struggle here for us. Doesn't look like Ferrari are having amazing pace run here, but also Leclerc is getting held up. So we'll see what kind of pace the Monegasque driver has and what kind of pace we have. Well, first run of Q2 here. Can we set some quicker lap times than I've seen in Q1? We shall find out. So I'm going to throw the car into turn 1 there. Wow, that was very late. Here we go, up towards the line. This is a very hooked up lap. And it is going to be fastest. So this is really surprising considering the pace I've shown in practice. But not sure where we'll come out when everyone has done their laps and everything's said and done. But for now, that is quickest. Well, here we go, showing considerably better pace than Q1. Here going about, 6/10 quicker than our Q1 lap. So very good there. We come off second, under a 10th behind Max Verstappen. And our teammate Leclerc making it through. The two Mercedes separated by exactly 1/10. So out in Q1 we have Kevin Magnussen, who qualified very high for that Haas car. Could Haas get some points finally this weekend if there's some trouble up ahead? And if he gets us off the line very well, then we got Yuki Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, Logan Sargent making it through to Q2, I believe, for the first time this season. Now he's knocked out, and he out-qualifies his teammate, Alex Albon. It wasn't by much, about 0.02 of a second, but it was still enough to get him past his more experienced teammate, so good work from him. Looks like we are going to have a mighty battle for pole here in Monaco. Well, this is it. Then I'm going to have 2 chances to set the quickest lap I can around this Monaco circuit that takes us around nearly an entire country. So let's see what kind of pace I have. Feeling pretty confident, especially after the times we were showing in Q2. but I'm going to have to find a few more tenths if I want pole position. Whoa, as we go very deep there into the Rascasse, and now we come out of the final corner up towards the line. It is still going to be enough for quickest, even with that big mistake. So, surprise there. But, yeah. We are quickest. So, can we hold on to that pole position through the rest of Q3? Well, here we go. We are currently on provisional pole position. We're 75 tenths, or 75 milliseconds, I should say, ahead of Max Verstappen. So now we're going to try to hold on to that pole position. So I've got one shot to get this done. Oh, yep. Wide out of 48 there as I went first. Quickest in the first sector. Yeah. Shoot. Okay, well, hopefully that will be enough to see me through. In pole position, let's see where the other drivers set their times. Because that is heartbreak there. That was a perfect lap so far. Well, there we go. Here at the end of Q3, pole position. For our home Grand Prix. 3 tenths ahead of our teammate Charles Leclerc, so I have no idea where this pace has come from. But seems we've had a stroke of luck going into qualifying. 75 milliseconds ahead of Max Verstappen, so 3/4 of a tenth of a second. So he wasn't able to improve on his lap time. Then we have George Russell and Oscar Piastri, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Lando Norris, last weekend's pole sitter. Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, and Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin. So 110.7, we did manage to break into the 110s. So yeah, great qualifying session, and a track position is key here at the Grand Prix of Monaco. So let's see if we can win this thing going into the race.
Formula One returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino that first opened in 1863. And of course, a certain road race first held in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Mr. Monaco lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Perez, Stroll, Magnussen, Gasly, Sargent, Albon, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, Joe, Tsunoda, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you know, you've got...
Nope. Not doing that. So here we go, lining up on pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix. Super excited for this, so we need to stay locked into what we're doing, make sure we are hitting our apexes properly. Good old medium to hard strategy should get the job done. So yeah, let's just start the formation lap, line up on the grid, and try to get a good getaway off the line.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres.
So Max Verstappen starting on the hard compound tires, so all sorts of jumbled up throughout the field, either hards or mediums. So some drivers clearly wanted to go longer with some strategy aspects there. So could Leclerc get off the line better than Verstappen at the start and put another Ferrari 1-2 on the cards?
As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can, and they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that, within the points.
Well, here we go, as we slow down now to line up on pole position. As I said, Charles Leclerc on the softer compound tire than Max Verstappen, so could he look for a move up into turn 1? And Haas also have something big to play for here with Kevin Magnussen. If he can get well off the line, there could be some points in it for him. Well, here we go as we line up on the grid. 5 red lights for the Monaco Grand Prix. And it slides out, and away we go. Max Verstappen gets off the line pretty evenly. We get a whole kick of wheel spin as he's going to try to go around the outside into Saint-Devoux, turn 1. But now we maintain the lead of the Grand Prix, so Leclerc wasn't able to clear Verstappen off the start here, unfortunately. But as I said, we maintain the lead. So we head down now towards the hairpin. The most iconic corner in all of Formula 1 and the slowest. So we head down through this section once again, up a gear. So we head through Portier where we binned it in Q3. Luckily we still held pole position. But yeah, it seems we are in for a decent race, 5/10 ahead of Max Verstappen as we head down into the Neuville chicane for the first time of 39. There is a little bit of wear on the combustion engine, but I figured I would just change it for next race in Canada rather than here in Monaco because straight line speed basically is obsolete. There's no reason to focus on it. Well, DRS now enabled here at the end of lap 1, and we lead the Monaco Grand Prix. But here we go, starting lap 7, and we are 1.4 ahead of Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. So 1.5 ahead of the Dutchman. Whoa, big slide there. Went a little wide.
Hey, engine's running very, very hot. Engine's running hot. Let's try and keep it cooler.
Alright, so lift and coast into some of these corners will help with that. So hopefully we can start pulling away from Max. And maybe Leclerc could have a sniff at him. Our tires will start to fall off before his do. So his tires will come to him as ours fall off, as we've seen so many times this season. So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay, really, really good. You hit that target nicely. There's a long way to go in this race, so let's keep it clean. Okay,
well,
so leading our teammate by 4.7 seconds.
So I was just about to say there, yes, so we have got the engine temp down, so that is a good sign. I want to keep it in that window as well. I can feel my tires starting to go just a little bit right now, about 20%. So I need to be extra cautious with what I'm doing. So Verstappen will start to catch us on those hard compound tires. But as the great Murray Walker once said, catching is one thing, passing is quite another, especially around a circuit such as Monaco.
Gap to your teammate behind, 6.2 seconds.
Wow, so our teammate Charles Leclerc has now dropped back 6 seconds behind us on the same compounded tire. I thought he would be a little quicker than us this weekend, if not even on pace. But it seems like he isn't. He's slowly just falling out of the battle for the win. So now Max Verstappen's 1.1 behind us as we go through the hairpin. Whoa, a little wide through Poirier there. Through the tunnel. Max Verstappen slowly but surely been gaining on us.
Okay, be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
Right you are, Mark, as I can already feel the grip from these tires starting to go, as we have now Max Verstappen all over the back of us in his Red Bull there. Whoa, we go very, very wide, just trying to keep this car in check. Can feel very unpredictable when the tires are this worn around any circuit, but Monaco is especially one that you don't want that at. So I've just been trying to manage it for the past few laps. Ooh, as you can see there, suddenly kick a wheel spin. So now we're going to get a very poor exit out of the tunnel. Luckily, there won't be enough in it for Max Verstappen. Into the Nouvelle chicane. Team want us to box at the end of next lap. So hopefully those laps after I pit and before Max pits should keep us ahead. I don't want to risk anything, so I've been saving up quite a bit of battery so I can just start doing some qualifying laps until he boxes for a brand new set of what I can only assume will be the soft compound tires at the end of the race. But we shall see. So team wanting us to box at the end of this lap for the hard compound tires. And I am all for it, as I want to get off these tires as soon as possible. Here we go, as we're going to come into the pit lane now. The car nice and slowed. So we turned into our pit box. Ooh, a little early there. Haven't done that in a while. So we're going to get a slightly slow stop, 2.8.
Well within the times we expected.
So not really what I was looking for, but hopefully I don't come out into a boatload of traffic.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
So now we're going to come out in 9th position behind Kevin Magnussen. So now we need to push till some of these drivers start to box. See, Magnussen's on the hard tires, so he'll be staying out. So I'm going to want to clear him. So even in Monaco, that should be possible on the Haas driver. So he's getting held up by the traffic ahead of him. Lance Stroll, that is. But I put the car into hot lap mode, and I'm just going to start to try to make some moves to stay ahead of Max Verstappen. As Lance Stroll peels into the pit lane. Now we're going to get around onto the main straight. Lando Norris out of the race. So last weekend's pole sitter will now not even go on to finish this Grand Prix. So he qualified low anyway. Look at what happened to Lando Norris here. He's coming through the tunnel behind the Sauber. Yep, and then his car goes up in smoke. So then the Aston Martin and the RB car go by him. And then he's going to pull off to the wayside. So heartbreak for the McLaren driver. He is out of the Monaco Grand Prix. So now that is one of the two McLaren cars out, as we're going to get so close to Kevin Magnussen, but this is costing us some serious time. We just might have a look into the Nouvelle chicane. Really the only other overtaking opportunity on this lap. This is starting to get so frustrating. So I'm going to get the best run I can. Onto the tunnel we go. And I'm going to gain in the slipstream with battery. He's going to try to go defensive. Can we send it down the inside on Kevin Magnussen and just force him out wide? Yes, we can. We do. Clear the Haas car. So I'm now starting to come up to the back of Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. So all the drivers who are in front of me started on the hard compound tire and have not made their stops yet. So I believe it is Sergio Perez, the two Mercedes, and Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. I've been pushing very hard to try to stay ahead of Verstappen, but now we're going to get held up by Checo through this entire final sector, and that is so annoying because that is going to cost us some time. Especially when Verstappen pits, we want to be within a gap that will have us come out ahead of him. Because I can't throw the car into the corners as much as I would like. But now I'm all over the back of the Mexican driver out of the final corner, but I don't get as good of a run as Max Verstappen is now into the pit lane. So we are now a country mile ahead of Max Verstappen. What about our teammate Charles Leclerc? No, he's not. He's about 3 seconds behind the Dutch world champion. So now we have Russell and Perez are the only ones who need to make their stops. So still frustrating behind Perez, but at least it's not costing us anything. Besides some time to Max on those fresher medium tires. I need to clear this Red Bull though. Here we go. This will be so satisfying if we can make the move stick coming out of the tunnel. We're going to go to the outside. He's just going to squeeze us. Let's go to the inside. Nope. Probably should have headed for the inside in the first place, as we had a little bit of a kiss on the back of the Red Bull. So now this has cost us nearly 3 seconds to Max Verstappen behind. And now we should see Checo in at the end of this lap. There we go. So I lost a lot of front end downforce from the dirty air. So we're going to have DRS on the main straight, but now Max Verstappen is 1.1 seconds behind us. And now we have our work cut out of us to the end of the race. Max Verstappen's going to try to go the outside. Wow, wasn't expecting that. As now we're going to go side by side up the hill. Got to give him the space here, as we're just going to have to back out. That was very close. Well, I certainly am starting to feel the pressure here on lap 26 of 39 from Max Verstappen behind. Just try not to make any more mistakes. So my hands are starting to sweat, and my mind is starting to race and think of every possible scenario that could go wrong. But I'm just trying to stay ahead of the Dutchman now, who is all over the back of me as I go very, very deep into Larascas. Out of Anthony Nogues. Now we get a horrible, horrible run onto the main straight. Will Max Verstappen look for a mover on the outside? We just squeeze him out there. As Mark telling us that our teammate is now gaining on us with all this squabbling going on with Max. So I just need to stay locked in to what I'm doing. Big moment there out of Sandovat, first corner. So now we have to give Max Verstappen some room. So we're going to take a different line through that corner, as I think we had a little bit of contact with the Dutchman as well. I just couldn't get the throttle planted out of turn 1 there, and that was another very close call. As Charles Leclerc is now coming down the hill through the hairpin, so he's about 2 seconds behind. So what can he do? Maybe if Max gets a poor run because of the squabble with me, then Leclerc can have a look to see if he can make it another Ferrari 1-2 in a row. How nice that would be. Although I'm sure he would prefer to be the leading Ferrari at his home Grand Prix. Whoa! Big slide out of Portier there. And that's going to put Max Verstappen on us through the tunnel. We're going to go side by side. Can the Dutchman take the lead? He's just going to get a little bogged down. But can he look for a move up the inside of the chicane? Oh, we go even deeper. We're just starting to feel even more pressure here. As now we head through towards the swimming pool chicane. And this is starting to be very, very stressful. As Max, I can see in my mirrors, he's just all over the back of me, looking for a move. So now we come out of the final corner, up towards the line to start lap 31. Here he goes. He's going to try to go around the outside.
0.0 seconds.
So the Red Bull clearly has a far superior straight line speed. We're going to deploy some energy and slam the door on it once again. He clearly is a lot faster than us on those tires, as now our teammate Charles Leclerc has joined the party, as are the two Mercedes. So now this is fair play for the top 5 positions. Well, I have been charging up some battery over this lap. Tires at about 15%.
Focus on the driving.
So now I'm going to go for a fastest lap run. See if we can snag that extra point from Verstappen. Well, here we go up towards the line. We're 5/10 up. And it's not going to be the quickest lap of the race. That was a 1:12.9. So, not sure what Verstappen's quickest lap is, but it's obviously pretty dang quick, as I think that's all we had left in those tires. So we'll continue on from here, I guess, without the quickest lap of the race. Well, here we go as we start the final lap of the race.
Final lap, push, push.
We are going to push all the way to the checkered flag. We've led this race since the start, of course excluding the pit stops, because other drivers stayed out longer than we did. And now it looks like we might just take our 3rd victory in Formula 1 here, of all places, in the Principality of Monaco, the most prestigious race in all of motorsport, and a Ferrari that has been working very well around this circuit. We've gone from feeling like we have an absolute boat through the corners in practice to now having one of the quickest cars on the grid. The top of the field is very, very close, but we have shown our mettle today and shown what we can do as we now head into La Rascasse, the penultimate corner, and then into Anthony Nogues, the final corner. Get right on the power and go right down the main straight. We are going to win the Monaco Grand Prix.
That's a race win and your 2nd race win in a row. Fantastic job.
So as Mark says, they're our 2nd race in a row, driver of the day as well. So good work there.
They've done it then. They've won here in Monaco with an emphatic performance and a victory they can be proud of for many years to come.
Team seemed to be very happy with that one.
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course, Crofty. And it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, you know, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forwards?
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
Well, since Jeddah, we sort of dug ourselves into a rut, but now we are back on top for these past few rounds as we pump the Monaco trophy in the air, as the team certainly are loving that. And our teammate Charles Leclerc comes home 3rd, and Max Verstappen 2nd. Once again, doesn't come out on top, does the Dutchman. So Charles will be very happy with the podium in his home race, and I'm certainly very happy at a win in Monaco.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, Max Verstappen's quickest lap there was a 1:12.7. I think we might have just got that on the last lap had I not made that little mistake out of the final corner. But anyway, we win the Monaco Grand Prix. Then Max Verstappen comes home 2nd, Charles Leclerc in 3rd, and then Lewis Hamilton from 6th comes 4th, so ahead of his teammate George Russell and Oscar Piastri. Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin, Sergio Perez in his Red Bull there, managing to get to 8th, and I believe that's only because of Lando Norris's DNF. Lance Stroll up a place, and instead of Kevin Magnussen taking that point, it is Pierre Gasly from 12th. So clearly starting on the hard tire, that strategy did not work out as well as they thought. Logan Sargent beats his teammate with the highest finish of the year for him. And yeah, as I said, Norris out of the race, Yuki Tsunoda finishing last. So not a great race for RB. They seem to be a little quicker around the higher speed circuits. So in terms of the standings, we are now just 24 points behind Max Verstappen in the championship. So Ferrari are really making a comeback here, scoring some good points. We are now extending our lead in the Constructors' Championship standings, 26 points ahead of Red Bull, followed by McLaren, then Mercedes. So yeah, that was a fantastic race for us, our second win in a row. So, as Anthony Davidson said, definitely not a one-time thing. But yeah, that is all for this video. And I will see you guys next time out at the Circuit of Canada. So the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve around the Canadian Grand Prix. And I'll see you guys then.